and perhaps no win bigger than Magnus Carlsen's victory with the black pieces over Fabiano Caruana. Magnus, this was your first victory here at Norway Chess since 2022 edition in Classical. How did it feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing, of course. Going into today, I thought, let's try and get away with the draw and, still be ranked #1 in the world and sort of try and get the tournament going after the free day. But, as the game went along, sort of my appetite grew as well. I started getting ambitious. I could feel that he was nervous, and when you have this rapid play phase towards the end, then these endgames are really, really hard to hold. So it wasn't a surprise for me that it went, but of course it's extremely satisfying.
It's funny, and confession time for us, because I'm glad you said you thought you came in today looking for a draw, because we didn't give your game a lot of attention. There was a lot of craziness going on some other boards, and so every time we checked, we're like, okay, we think these two guys are headed toward Armageddon. So it was vintage Magnus there toward the end. You were pushing a game that really maybe you shouldn't have won, but you did. So when was the moment that you felt like, all right, this is the time to go for it?
No, I thought the game was very interesting. It wasn't swashbuckling tactics from the start, but strategically there were a lot of nuances there. I think my position really got going when I managed to get b5. I thought he should have gone a5 earlier to sort of to prevent that. And after that, I was already feeling that I didn't have any problems. I thought after that, obviously it's not the most interesting position in the world. And
let's pull it up here, because he just said b5. Go ahead.
And a lot probably would have to happen for this position not to be drawn, but that doesn't mean that there's no play, there's no intrigue. So I won't blame you for not paying too much attention to this game, as there was so much going on in the others. But it always felt very, very interesting. And yeah, a lot of things happened, of course, after here. Typical of him, he went for a very concrete solution at some point, which worked. Knight f3. This was nice. I'd sort of underestimated that, because I thought people don't really play this way, but it was a good practical solution for him, and I think it's still equal here. I have a lot of tactical tries here, but I don't think any of them work. So we go on. Still, the position is drawn, but you can see that the time is ticking down a bit, and it's not so easy to force it. So I still had some ambitions here. Knight h5. Yeah, Queen c1.
To be fair, at this point, we were giving you a lot of attention, because we also felt the same way. We saw that there were tricks coming, and the ambition was there.
Yeah, and I was very happy to see knight takes g5, actually. I thought probably knight e5 was a better move. Apparently it's not, but okay, yeah. At least after what he did, I have a bit of a target. Rook f2, queen g5, and it's getting quite shaky for him. Knight g3 was really nice. I'm actually not threatening anything, but he's almost in Zugzwang. I was thinking about e5 for him, and then my idea was to go king h8 and ask him what to do. And I couldn't, at least with limited time, I couldn't see a clear answer. So I thought he might have to go king h2 here as well, but then rook d2, and we get the same thing. Okay, here this was, of course, very, very pleasant.
What kind of winning chances did you give yourself when you first went to this?
hard to say. I would say probably around 50%, like maybe a little bit more. Also, I'd won a similar end game against him in Zagreb last year in Blitz. It started the day when I went 9 out of 9.
Okay.
And so I had some good memories there. But yeah, Queen A7, that was I think not a great move. I think once I get H5, H4, I'm starting to get pretty optimistic. Since now his king is really weak. But yeah, we can just fast forward. I'm sure there are still ways to draw, but now it's extremely unpleasant.
Yeah, there was one moment, Magnus, where we saw on the camera Fabi nearly touched his queen here and took it back, his hand, before playing the only move, King G1.
Yeah, but at this point, it's already gone, practically speaking.
Yeah.
I really don't think such a position is held very often, even with plenty of time. I don't even know what is. This position is a draw?
Apparently
there's one line.
Apparently Queen A2 only move, but this is, as
and
you said,
what is the
practical.
idea?
I guess just checks to drive the white.
And then F7?
To drive the black king in front of its own pawn, but...
Okay, I couldn't imagine that this position was a draw.
I think...
Yeah, I think in practice you win this all the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay, that's interesting. It's definitely something new for me as well. I thought, like, with the central pawn and the white king not participating and also quite weak and, like, vulnerable to checks, it should be an easy win, but...
Very nice. Magnus, sometimes as commentators, we say that not all victories are equal. There's victories where you win maybe because of prep or your opponent plays badly, and then there's games like this where you had to work the whole time and you grinded out a victory as black. Is that so for you, to feel like getting a game like this and winning in that fashion is a really great step, especially before the rest day and building momentum?
Yeah, I think it's extremely satisfying. Since I had to work so hard for it, and I think I really did all the right things in order to try and win. And sometimes it's really hard to win at chess, but you can still do it, and that was one of these days. And if you grind out enough, if you try and grind out enough of these, you'll win some of them. And yeah, this one was especially big.
Worked out.
You mentioned
Grind like a grandmaster. Sorry.
Sorry, I think we all have so many questions.
Carry on, Anna.
Of course, no, you need to plug it more. I was just wondering, you mentioned doing all the right things. What did that mean for you since yesterday's game? Obviously, everyone was celebrating Pragnananda's win over you, but on the other side of the coin, that was a really difficult game for you. How do you deal with a loss like that, and what was your mindset going into today's game? If you can walk us through, what does Magnus Carlsen do after losing a game like that yesterday?
Yeah, the game yesterday was, of course, quite upsetting. Even though I had completely misevaluated the position at times, like I thought I was much worse to lose, and then that I'd actually come back in the game just in order to blunder it away. Well, it turned out that he was winning all the way, and he just played brilliantly, which I didn't understand. So that was a bit humbling, I would say. After that, no, I didn't have a lot of positive thoughts, to be honest. But I had a good meal right before the game, so I was in a decent mood, and yeah, I just tried to be solid today. And I didn't have any particular ambitions. Maybe that's why it went well, because I only started to play for a win when it was when all the danger was out. But I don't know. I don't think like I did anything particularly wrong or right. It just when I get my positions, I can still play well. That's what I can say.
Is that going to be your strategy for the rest of the tournament now, Magnus? Just solid and wait for chances when they come?
I got 2 white games coming up, so I'll try and push in those, of course. But yeah, apart from that, this was a huge win, of course, especially with the scoring system here. I'm not in bad shape at all, so yeah, feeling really good now.
Ollie Reza said he's going to use the rest day to prepare all day for Magnus. What are you going to use the rest day for?
Oh, I don't know. I have no particular plans, but the weather is going to be beautiful, so I'll try and use that somehow.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us, man. This was awesome. It was great to see. Congrats on the victory, and we hope to have you again.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. See ya. Enjoy the rest day.
Good luck for the rest of the event.
Magnus Carlsen holds on to that world number. Oh, wait, let me ask you about that. You mentioned the world #1 spot. Sorry, we're bringing Magnus back. 1 second. We're bringing Magnus back. You mentioned the world #1 spot. Was that in your head at all?
Yeah, it was in my head before the game, but that was more part of sort of a negative spiral where I felt that I was playing really poorly and so on. So, but I didn't think about it during the game, of course. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just focused.
It feels good to get that win and get the padding back a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that as well. Sorry for that. You mentioned it. I wanted to ask you.
Follow up on that. If
Okay. Well, I guess we have one more. Go ahead.
What does it mean for you to hold on to that spot? Because you've had it for so long. We were looking up the stats on like when was it actually that Magnus started and never lost the world #1 spot. And what does it mean to you to hold on to that spot? And how long do you think you will have it if you can predict the future?
Well, I haven't played classical chess in a long time, and I don't play a lot of classical chess because I don't particularly like it. But as long as I play, I want to be rated #1 in the world because I still think that I'm the best player in the world. So.
So it matters.
Yeah, it matters.
Okay. Nice.
It's
All
good
right.
to know.
Great question. All right. Thanks, man.
Good luck
Appreciate
for the
the extra
rest of
time.
the event, Magnus.